How are you doing? My name is Jadel Mitchell. I am a sophomore. I do track and field, and this is my YouTube page, Beyond the Ring. I'm currently here with.
My name is Ruby. I am the captain of the dance team here at Roosevelt University. I'm an accounting major, and a fun fact about me, I love to play soccer and I love to sing.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. Shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna start off a little bit with like the leadership and the team dynamic that you have on the team, etc. The first question is, what motivated you to take on a leadership role on the team, and how has it influenced your college experience so far?
So, what motivated me was it was my sophomore year. So, last year, our senior who was captain, her name's Ricky, she was graduating, and my coach was looking for someone to step up. She didn't want to hand the role to anybody. And I remember her saying that it wasn't going to be handed and that nobody really deserved it and that someone had to prove themselves. So I kind of took that as she's looking for someone to step up.
Mhm.
And even though I was just a sophomore, I knew what being a captain was going to take because I have been captain before throughout my high school years.
Mhm.
And so I stepped up and I told her that, I'm willing to take the leadership role because I'm someone who catches up with choreography. I care about every individual on the team and how we do together on the floor. And I just feel that most of my dedication has always been with dance, and I couldn't see why I couldn't do it.
Okay, I like that answer. That was a def answer. So the second question is, as a junior and a leader, how do you balance your like leadership responsibilities with your own training and performance on the team? Because you have to make sure everybody else is on their Q's and P's. I think is the phrase.
Yeah.
P's and Q's.
Yeah. Um, so to balance it out, I'm sorry, can you repeat that question one
Yeah,
more
of
time?
course. So as a junior, you're kind of getting close to that end of the year. You have 1 year left, and then also as a leader, as a captain, how do you balance your leadership responsibilities with your own training and performance? So you have to make sure the younger people, the other people that aren't veterans, etc., are on their P's and Q's, and you also have to make sure you're also on your own training and your own performances up to state because you are captain. You're supposed to be that person that they look up to, kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. So I definitely, to balance everything out, I'm a Google Calendar girl, hardcore. Um, when you want to be a leader and you want to balance things out, you have to put put your priorities first. So I'm not the type of person who goes out like every weekend.
Hmm.
I'm usually catching up with like homework and stuff throughout the weekend. Um, and we applied study tables, so that can also help the girls on the team and as well me to be able to have time to do our homework because our practices are so late. People usually have class and then we go to practice. So, well, we do study tables, then go to practice. So that study table gives us that time to really lock in academically right before we get more into like the physical part of our sport.
Hmm.
Um, but I try to talk to everyone on the team. I make sure the girls know that this is a safe community. So there's a lot of things that always happen on the team and outside of the team, and it's just very important that they feel that they can come to me or any of the returners and the coaches. So if there ever is an issue, we solve it. Just being very focused, setting our priorities straight. If a girl is struggling with class, I don't mind to take the time to make a list down of what needs to get done and take it one step at a time.
Um, let's see. How do you motivate and support your teammates, especially when like I think we kind of got to that question a little bit, but like balance the academics and athletics. I know you said like you want them to be able to come to you, and you have the study tables, but I'm also on the team here too, so I know that a lot of athletes, including myself, can kind of forget about academics when it comes to being an athlete, and we are student athletes at the same time. But how do you kind of motivate your teammates to stay on their academics and realize that it is student athlete and athlete student?
So I always try to remind them that even though dance is life, it's not life. Um, there's always going to be a life after college, and everything that you do right now plays a big role of what the outcome will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always trying to encourage the girls. to look into internships because those internships can build connections in the future, can offer you a job. Um, so I'm sorry, I like that a little bit.
No, you're good.
I just try to remind them what their purpose is and that dance will always be there, but academics is always going to be more important because there's a higher chance you will come out with something academically than with dance.
Mm.
So I just be trying to send uh, also motivating them to join clubs, not just dance, because it's very easy to get tangled up with dance. Um, and as well, we compete at nationals next semester, and you can't get there without succeeding academically this semester. So I always try to remind them, if you want to compete on that floor, you need to pass your classes, and that it's okay if something comes up where you have to miss something that involves dance, but it'll be worth it in the long run because dance will always be there. But taking that final at a certain time, going to study with tutors, like that needs to be prioritized so that you can succeed on the floor.
Okay. I'll go turn the lights back on. It's a motion sensor thing. Kind of sucks. There we go. I had to fix that. That kind of is horrible. So for my last question of kind of like leadership is, being a captain. I was a captain in high school, and I was a pretty stern captain. I feel like at times, but how would you describe your own leadership style, and how do you use it to keep the team focused and united during like tough times? Like you said, nationals is next semester. What are you kind of goals to like keep people, hey, this is nationals. This isn't kind of like a regular competition. This is something that's big.
So it's very tough because our schedule right now is already very full, but like I said, it comes to priorities. So we make those times for study tables to help the girls succeed. The harder thing about next semester is we are practicing 6 days out of the week, and I always say lean on each other. If you're having a bad day, cry it out. We cry in front of each other all the time actually because it can be stressful. If you have to study for an exam and memorize things, you also have to study to remember moves for one routine. Where we're learning two different competition routines, each 2 minutes, plus still working around our halftime shows, sometimes even learning a routine a day before performance. And those things can be hard, but we always lean onto each other. I feel like I always try to make time for anybody who needs help outside of practice,
Mm.
as well as the co-captains do as well. Um, and we break it down. We make sure we try not to make it as stressful because sometimes we tend to rush things just so we can do something else. But if we really have to take the time to go through it, we will. But I'm very like strict on know your choreography, and that's why I try to give all the resources outside of dance for them to be able to complete that.
Mm-hmm.
So that when we do go to practice, it's just let's run it and we can move on to the next, especially next season, because we are going to have to know these halftime routines so that we can focus on our two hip hop and team routine. So I would say my leadership is pretty good. I also try to just make everyone laugh. I try not to be like too serious because I know like it can be stressful. Um, Even though sometimes I know I have to chill off on like the goofy part, but I know some of them need it more. And so I try to keep a balance of like, priorities, but also have fun and even plan like small and affordable team bondings, whether it's like, oh, let's go get some hot chocolate and just like laugh and like talk about things. And it's really nice.
So kind of like in practice is practice time, but outside of
Yeah.
practice, it's like we can be cool, kind of keep it
Yeah,
cordial
no, for
and have
sure.
fun.
Because so we need to also, I believe that we need to also do things that don't involve dance
Mm-hmm.
because we are constantly dancing and we see each other all the time. We see each other through our highs and lows. And I feel like sometimes we just need to take a little break from that, whether it's going to Wingstop or Kong Dog, like, or just little things like that.
Okay, I think we're gonna take a couple of your tips for the track team for sure.
You should. Trust me, it helps.
It does, I bet. And we just did a little team bonding this past couple of days. So kind of moving on to the next section, with you and with us being Division two at that, and with being a captain of dance team and being an athlete, but you're also a college student, and a lot of people are always wondering about the college life. But how do you balance dance and being an athlete with that college life? Is kind of what we'll be talking about next. So the first question I want to really ask you is, how do you manage your time between a full time student and a dedicated dancer?
So I love that question. I believe nothing is impossible. Um, I'm not only a full time student and a full time dancer, but I also work two part time jobs. So I've been telling people it's not impossible. It's your what you put your priorities on. I feel something I've definitely learned throughout my college experience is always show up even when you're tired.
Just in case it turns off again. I'm
Yeah,
listening. I
no, it's
promise.
okay. I feel when I first started college, it was so easy to just like skip a class because I was tired. But then I realized, and this is why I'm always encouraging girls to show up and to succeed academically because your GPA does matter. If, again, for internships, if you want to get somewhere, your GPA needs to be high. So everything you're doing in class has an outcome as well. So I put myself in a position where I'm like, I need to show up to class just as much as I want to show up for dance. So that definitely, and again, especially just now being my junior year and applying for internships, being in school is very important to get to the next level. So I try to take it as I view it like I love dance. I'm like I love to go to class. I try to not just be like, oh, I have to go to class. Like, no, I'm gonna go to class. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna meet my professors. I talk to my classmates, which is really nice because I can work with them outside of class if I'm ever struggling or if they're ever struggling. Um, but I feel having a job here on campus really helps as well. I kind of set my schedule where it's like I go to class and then I go to my job. I work at the financial aid office on 1M, and I try to get a lot of homework done there as well. So I take advantage of that. But there will be times where they do put me to do things, and obviously it's okay because it's my job. But I do try to take advantage to do homework there as well. And then I go to practice so that when I get out of practice, I don't have a homework to really focus on because we finish so late. Um, as well, I know I did live on campus for some time, but for me, it was very expensive and also had a effect on my mental health because I feel like I never left the building. So I moved off campus, 15 minutes away in Lakeview. I moved in with my roommate. She actually goes to DePaul. We went to high school together, so it kind of like it worked because our schools are neighbors.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's a 15-minute drive or a 15-minute train ride. So and the train is right next to my house, like just across the street. And it just really, I feel like it helped me mentally because I feel like I'm getting up and I'm doing something. I'm making sure I feed myself because you have to make sure you eat. You cannot get through a day if you are doing school and you're doing work and then you're doing practice. And I did want to say as well, on Fridays and Saturdays, I work at an auto shop as a secretary and manager, depending how they want to put me. And it's usually 10 hours, so like 8 to 6, or Saturday 7 to 5. Unless I have a game, what I love about what I love about that job is that they're very flexible. Like if I have a game, they're like, okay, you have a game, go ahead.
Yeah.
But they help me get that side money that I need to help me like pay my rent, and financial aid was able to cover everything for school when I moved off campus, so that took off a lot of stress. So I know right now a lot of people stress about the college experience. I will say I think you can try it for a semester. It's definitely worth it, but then you'll know like what's best for you. And I feel like living off campus worked best for me. Um, so as you can see, like I definitely put my priorities first. If things are going good, I will have like a good time and go out with friends. But for the most time, I meal prep Sundays so that I can be well fed throughout the week and making because again, eating is so important. I cannot stress that. I cannot concentrate in class if I'm not fed. I cannot dance if I'm hungry. So I feel like it's not just about like what you're doing, but what you're doing to take care of yourself physically as well.
Trust me. You're talking to the thrower. Food is very important to
yes,
us.
no, for sure.
No, I'm gonna skip around a little bit. I don't want to take too much time of your day. I know you have something to do at 12 as well.
Oh, that's okay.
What do I want to ask you? You know, there's a lot of questions that I pick. I'm not gonna lie.
That's okay.
You know, I also work for the campus as well, so I kind of know that like when you're behind that desk, try to get as much work as you can done. Because I also do practices in the afternoon occasionally. Sometimes we practice right next to you guys, so I definitely
Oh,
get it for
really?
sure.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just the throwers though. So like we're pretty small. You don't really see us a lot, but well, we're small, big people. So
Well, I see you guys sometimes in the Goodman.
yes, we do throw in the good men occasionally, but kind of also with me being on the sports team as well, I'll be on track and field. I've been doing track for a few years now, and it definitely taught me a lot of different like life skills that I learned. How to be a leader, etc. Always, just because I am an athlete, it's not gonna be there after me. But what would you say that like dance has taught you outside of like being an athlete? Like what kind of life skills that taught you, etc. And vice versa. If you brought anything from outside into the dance team with you being captain, like any skills that you learned throughout your life. We know we all have different experiences and we all learn
Yeah.
different things. So like, what did you bring into the team, and what did the team, I guess, bring into you?
Yeah, that I love that question. So I feel dance takes a lot of discipline. There will be times where you want to quit because it becomes so hard. I learned that lesson actually my sophomore year of high school. My freshman year of high school, I did quit halfway, and I realized I was if I hadn't quit my freshman year of high school, I would have been on varsity my sophomore year, competed 3 years varsity, and just been captain right away. But I had to pay my consequences when I did finally decide to go back. I had to redo my JV year,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I still had the outcome I wanted. I became captain and I got to take our team to first place for conference. But yes, I love that. I love it. It was fun, but I know a lot of people will try to bring you down and encourage you not to go back to it. At least that's what happened to me. But I didn't care what anyone thought, and I chased after what I wanted because dance is my passion. It's been for a very long time, and I know it's going to be forever. I know it is. But I would say just not. It taught me not to quit, and it taught me that even when things get hard, to keep pushing through. Because if I can't get through being on a dance team, then I don't feel like I can get through anything outside of that. And that's why I try to tell the girls a lot, like, you're tired, but do it tired. Like, it's going to be worth it at the end. I'm serious.
Yeah, I definitely had to figure out a better spot to record these videos. Um, you know, being a college student and and an athlete, we have very busy schedules. I know I got lucky enough to pick my schedule to a point that like I don't really have a lot of
Yeah.
in-person classes. Next year I got really lucky too, that I was able to pick my schedule and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. But sometimes you have practice twice a day, cards classes, and it still works. So how do you? What's like a typical busy day for you, and how do you go about juggling that?
Yeah. So for me, I would say every day is a busy day. But I take everything one step at a time. I make sure I wake up on time. I will go to my classes. So sometimes I usually have two classes in the morning. Earliest 9:30. I'm done by 12 with both classes. Um, After 12, I go to work from 12 to 5. And I would say probably our busiest days when we have team lifts because when we get out at 5, when I finish at 5, team lifts start at 5 and they finish at 6.
Oh, so it's like a little rush thing to gotta get over
Yeah, but
there.
it's good thing it's just upstairs. So that's a good thing about Roosevelt. You just have to take elevators.
Yeah, everything is in the same building.
Yeah. And so after team lifts, we do study tables from 6 to 7:30, and then 7:30 to 9 we practice. When we don't have team lifts, we have to do team study tables for an hour between 2 and 6. So I finish work at 5. I'll do my hour from 5 to 6, and then we have our practice 6 to 9. And that's, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what it looks like Mondays and Thursdays, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays is the one with the team lifts. And then Fridays, again, I work my shift, my 10-hour shift, and then Saturday another 10-hour shift. Um, but unless we have a game, and sometimes practice doesn't happen throughout the week because we have a game during that time.
Mm.
So maybe that's my busier days when we
You
have
have a game?
because we sometimes we have to do double headers. So we have to be there at 4:30, even though the game starts at 6, because we have to do floor time. We have to make sure everybody's in the right uniform. We have to make sure everybody knows what forms we're doing because forms tend to change literally last minute before performance, and we had to do that all behind the scenes, make sure everybody feels good, has had snacks. Then we start our first game, and now because we are D2, the games are longer because of the media recordings that they're doing
Yeah.
every break. So we finish one game and then we have 10 minutes, hydrate, eat a snack, and then we have another game. And we tend to finish around 10 p.m. with the last game. And when it's like towards the end of the week and we have days like that, that's where we go get to Wingstop and like being the girl that are like, let's just go, we deserve it. But that's typically what a busy day would look like for me. But my advice is always taking it one step at a time. There is no other way. If you're doing one thing and you're thinking about all the things you have to do, it's only going to cause more stress and build more anxiety. So I think, okay, I'm in class. I need to focus in class because if I'm thinking about what's next, then I'm not going to be able to be present in class in the moment.
Yeah.
So everything, I would say, taking everything one step at a time.
And you also said calendars.
Oh, Google
Calendar girly.
Calendar,
Yeah.
yes. Because when that Sunday comes, I'm sleeping in. And
Trust me.
I know because it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's all colored. Then Sunday is break. I can either catch up on homework, go get groceries, or just take a rest mental day.
Trust me. I don't use Google Calendar, but I use Time Tree.
Oh, I've never heard of
It's a
that.
real good app. So I suggest checking it out. I love my Time Tree. I put every little thing on it because I also do my motivational speaking and public speaking.
Yeah.
So like, I'm always it's always like, oh, you have the speaking thing this time, and then you have practice right in the morning. Like
Yeah.
it's literally November. I believe I had like a cocktail event called Talk at, and the next morning I had like 7 a.m. practice, and like the
Oh
cocktail
my
event ended
goodness.
close to like 11, 12. I was like, thank
No.
God for my time because I would have forgot about practice.
That's crazy.
um,
I'd be knowing too because I have a lot of track friends in my class, and they tell me, "Oh, I had to be up this morning. I had to get up at 5 to be there at this time."
yeah, we have a
But
lot of commuters who like have to ride the train pretty early. Luckily, I live on campus, so it's really just
yeah,
like going down a couple floors. But those commuters, I give them their props because like some of them are waking up at like 3 in the morning.
I agree.
Um, let's see, what's up? Um, we talked a lot about you as a captain, being an athlete, but let's talk a little bit more about like the team itself,
Yeah.
because um, I'm a year behind you. I'm a sophomore. When I came here, it was our last NAIA year, and then we moved to NCA. You've been here for a couple more years, I believe, and you've had 2 years, I believe, on NAIA,
Yeah.
and then this is your first NCAA as well too. So, how do you think like the team has evolved over the years, and also how it's been evolving to the point that we're at now with us being in NCAA?
Yeah. So I definitely will say the Roosevelt dance team has come a very long way, considering this is probably the fourth year that they have a dance team. So we had to start this program from scratch. When I came onto this team, I believe it was only 8 of us, and we slowly started recruiting throughout the year, and then we competed with about 9 or 10 my first year. It can be very very hard to be a small team going to a huge competition where there's teams of like 24 girls, or like just the fact that we were just small numbers, and there was just like all these teams that have started their program for years already. Um, but we never let that stop us from doing our best, and we never let that take away our encouragement. Because at the end of the day, we all really wanted it, so we were very hungry for it, and I'm very grateful that my first year, for the number we had, we got to place third place for NEA division in hip hop. And then my sophomore year, we got more girls. But before I get to that, I do want to say we started off with a team with no experience.
Like no one knew how
No,
to.
we just were taking people in. We just wanted to form a team. We just really wanted to be out there with more girls. And, a lot of people looked down at us and would laugh at us because we didn't have experience. But that's what I love about the Roosevelt dance team is that they teach you and they understand and they want you to grow, and they help every single one of us grow as dancers, um, as well as outside of that. So by my sophomore year, we had more recruits, and it was great. I loved it. So I could see like it's growing, and now we have our biggest roster. We have 20 girls. I'm very grateful for it.
It's a big jump.
Yes, it is, and we're hoping to have at least 26 next year. But it all starts with what we're doing now. So we have to be able to think about we have to think about the future as well as enjoy what we're doing now, but how everything we're doing now will affect the future. Who they will see like our accomplishments and us, even not just our accomplishments, but the way the team dynamic is.
Mm.
Um, Again, like I believe for me, and I know for the girls, we're like family. We treat each other like family because we spend so much time together.
Yeah.
It's insane. We start in the summer, and then it goes on until April, and then you get like maybe a month or two, a month and a half, and then we're right back
Right
into
back
it.
at it. Yeah.
But I just want to say the team has definitely grown a lot. I never thought we would have this much of a big roster, and I love it. And um, I do think it's will be a little scary competing D2, but I feel that we have just as much potential as any other team.
Um, you know, you've been on the team for a couple of years. You have nationals next semester. I believe you guys went to nationals last semester too, right? So with all that put together and all your past on the team, what is the most memorable performance you've had, whether in a game, at a competition? But like, which one has like stuck to you that you're always gonna be like,
Thinking about
yeah, even
it.
after you graduate, like a story you're gonna tell your kids, like.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, so we had our first showcase. We our freshman year we had a showcase at DePaul, but DePaul was under construction, so we were like, who's going to host a showcase? And our school does not have a lot of space for a showcase, but we made it work. We
We
made
hosted
it.
it.
We did. We
Oh,
in the Goodman Center.
that's
I if you
that's good.
I don't know if you remember seeing flyers. It was like dance showcase, like Chicagoland last semester.
Yes, yes, I do
I hung
remember.
up all of those. I hung up like 100, 150. And I print. That's why I like working at Financial Aid. I took advantage of that printer. I printed 150 and I put it everywhere. But to me, I will say the showcase was very funny because we do we have floor time before we do our actual
Mhm.
performance, and I remember everyone just being so stressed because we're like, oh my god, this is our home. Like we need to do good. We need to impress, and like everyone again with dance like it can tend to be like there can be a lot of stress, so I know everybody was stressed, everybody was like we have to do this, we have to do that, and I just remember I was trying to do a move where I kicked my leg up and the floor was slippery where the study tables are.
Yes.
I did it and I fell back like straight flat back, and everybody's stressing and I'm on the floor literally laying down. I'm like, and they didn't even notice. Some people noticed, but I was like, guys, I just fell. I literally just fell, and it just made all of us laugh. And I realized like it's not that serious, guys. Like let's just have fun. But I think that one's memorable for me because it's just to me it's funny like how we can get so in our heads, and then we it just takes one funny moment to be like we got this, and
Yeah.
that feeling like just walking out and we're like we just did it, we're gonna do it, like
I definitely understand that. Definitely, like last year, there was a competition where I was kind of doing kind of bad. I got real in my head, and it took like one of my teammates' tail to just like say something, and I just started laughing, and then I like PR'd and got the school record that day. So that was really
yes,
fun.
so awesome, congrats.
Thank you. So that was a fun day, but I definitely get that like it just takes that like that little like funny moment to like
Yeah,
just relax and realize like you guys got this.
yeah, and then not to like talk about it too much, but that was my favorite funny moment. But as for most memorable, it's really hard because I feel every performance is memorable. um I just know that when I try to picture the memories, it's just always like a little slideshow in my head where I'm either praying before a performance. The girls and I are giving hugs to each other. We're like, we got this. We're going to do good. But I feel like those little moments really stick with me.
I'm gonna skip around a little bit because I do believe I have a meeting at 12. Actually, I think I do.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. College and junior year, you know, you have a year left. Is unless well, you have a year left competing, etc. And you know, how was like, how was your perspective on your college life being a student athlete changed since your first year? Because I know like, say your first year, um, your mental health kind of drained, and which I wouldn't believe because you're such a sporadic and lively person. I
Thank
love
you.
that. But how would you say kind of like your perspective on college life changed since your first year to now your junior year, getting ready for your last year?
Yeah, so I feel like it's changed a lot. I feel like I've become a stronger person. Um, you have to be careful with who you surround yourself with. You want to be around people who have the same motivation as you. So I feel like my freshman year, I felt very lonely, but then I moved in campus and I didn't feel as lonely, but for some reason, just living in the same building was just really taking a toll on my mental health. Um, but I feel like it's helped me grow with a lot of discipline. I feel like I took action into what I want. Um, and I realized like college is not a joke. You're literally investing money into this.
Yeah,
So I'm like, if I want to do good, if I'm going to be putting my money into this, I need to get good grades. So just realizing like it's not a joke. So there's a lot of maturity right now compared to my freshman year. My freshman year, I was like, I'm here. I just want to dance. But no, there's just so much more to it. People need to start taking it seriously. I know I definitely started taking it more seriously towards the end of my sophomore year because I was prioritizing dance more. So I had to just put my batteries on and realize like this isn't a joke. Who do I see myself outside to be after college?
hmm
So that's why I started taking everything seriously more now because again, everything you do now always has a purpose and it always is going to have an outcome.
I love that. You know, you've been in college for 3 years going on last year. What is it's kind of like the most question you hear the most. I feel like what would you give advice to either your freshman self and other freshmen?
Yeah, so I would say know what you want. So take the time to really explore yourself um, because you don't want to be halfway through college and realize this isn't what I want to do anymore. And it's okay, but you don't want to put yourself through that. I would say, make your friends for sure, make your support system, but definitely know that everything has a purpose. Stay dedicated and definitely show up to class. I cannot stress that. I feel like I would skip so many classes my freshman year. You don't want to do that. Connect with your professors. Like these connections nowadays, it's what it's about. It's having connections. But definitely show up to everything, even if you're tired and you just want to, and your friends want to go see the tree lighting, even though it's crowded. Just go,
Let's go.
make those memories because it's going to fly by so fast. I'm here now as a junior, and I'm already like, man, next year's my last year of dance, and I I'm just grateful that I went to everything even when I was tired. Um, just make those memories because they're not going to come back, and life is only going to get more serious after college.
As you approach your senior year, um, what what are you most excited about? How do you plan to stay involved with dance after graduation? I know like some of our athletes come back and be like volunteer coaches, grad assistants, but what does your next year and after look like for you?
Yeah, so I definitely do want to aim for the grad assistant position. It just depends because cheer and dance fall into the same program, and every 2 years it needs to be a dancer and then a cheerleader.
Mm.
Right now we have a dancer as a grad assistant. So when the next run up comes up, it has to be cheerleader. But it looks like there isn't anyone running for it right now who wants to run for it, so I might get that opportunity. Um, but if not, and even if I do, I know that my goal with dance is I want to try out for the Chicago Lover Bowls. I really want to be there, and I know, which is why I did their first dance clinic last year, and I plan to do it again this year. And I know it's not something that's impossible. I plan to try out every year until I make it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that the dancers on the Lover Bowls themselves told me. Do not feel discouraged if you don't make it your first year. A lot of them didn't make it their first year and just keep trying out. So that's my plan. Unless God wants to take me to the Miami Dolphins, we'll see. But
Not the Dolphins.
no,
No.
I look when it comes to football, I support the dance teams. I don't support
Okay, all right. Well,
That's different though. That's different.
I know I live in Chicago, but I am a Packers fan, so I get a lot of hate,
Oh,
get a lot of hate. But I lived in Florida too for a little bit, and I don't know the Florida teams out there. I just don't like, and I don't know about the
but you
dance
like
teams.
the dance team. They're great.
I guess I should look a little more into their dance teams, etc. But
Yeah.
I don't know Miami Dolphins. I might not. If you make it, I might not have to watch still. Just
Oh
saying,
my
I might
goodness.
tune in only for like
Okay, that's what
halftime.
matters. So no, yeah. So that's actually what part of one of my goals. But dance is always there. That's something that I learned. There's so many studios here in Chicago. So where it takes me, I might try out for a hip hop team, compete like world dance. And there's even if not, there's classes that I can just take. And I feel like even in the summer when I worked my 8 to 6 Monday through Saturday, I was going to dance from 7 to 10 and just taking classes. Like I do like work study, but I know dance will always be there. Definitely would try to love to be grad assistant and as well just keep trying out for the bowls until I get the opportunity to perform on that floor. But then,
Preferably the Bulls.
yeah,
Let's let's
I
stay
wish
at the
the Bears
Chicago.
had used to have a Honey Bears team.
I
Um,
don't know nothing about that.
let me tell you, you know why the Bears suck? Because they don't have a dance team.
You know why they suck? Because they lose constantly to us. So
Oh, whoa,
I
whoa.
don't even know what the record is anymore. The
Well,
Bears.
wait till they get a dance team. I guarantee you their luck will
Hmm,
change.
okay, we'll see what
It's
happens.
true.
I don't
They
know. It's
once
been a
the
couple years
honey
running now that they have not beat us.
after the Honey Bears got canceled, and that's why it became a curse. It was put in the newsletter. It's gonna be a curse, and it has been a curse. So when they come back, remember
We
me.
shall see what happens. You know, kind of like we kind of got into the future. I'm gonna kind of start ending the video a little bit, but I have one question that everybody really wonders in their life. Kind of you do all these different things in your life. You're a college student. You're an athlete. You're a sibling. I'm forgetting a daughter. I don't know what I was trying to forget. I forgot what it's
Yeah.
called. A child, I guess. But I don't know how I blanked out on that. But like, what do you wish to leave behind on the dance team? Like your impact at Roosevelt and the dance team once you graduate. It's your last year. I mean, next year will be your last year. What is the impact that you want to leave behind?
The impact I would like to leave behind is there's a lot of things. I want people to know that there's always room to grow, and just because you can't do one style of dance right now doesn't mean you can't do it in a few weeks or the next year. I just want them to know that they it's never too late because I definitely was not those girls who grew up with studio dance and got to learn all these amazing tricks, but I had to build myself up on my own, and I've had the opportunity to do that here. I can now do a flip without hands. I just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say
Front or
that.
back flip?
Well, it's an aerial. It's a cartwheel with no hands. It's a dance move.
Okay. Well, in our future video that we're doing together, let's not put that on the list because I think I'm gonna break something.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do a flip with no hands.
You
I
know
can barely
what?
do a cartwheel.
I barely got it down this year. I'm sure you can too. We can
Look,
start with the cartwheel though.
I've been told all my cartwheels turn into somersaults, so
Oh,
I don't know what happens there.
somersaults are just as important.
Hey,
Just saying. There's
I
some
know
people who even don't know how to do that, and they had to learn how to do that for a dance performance.
I'm a 300-pound man. I don't know if I could do
No,
do a
trust
cartwheel.
me, I have full belief that you can do it.
We
And
shall see.
that's what I want people to know is that you can do anything that you dedicate yourself to when you put that hard work in, that nothing is impossible. Because again, the dance world, it's hard because there are people who have grown up with experience, and a lot of us that are on the team now didn't grow up with that, and it's not impossible. I was just a straight palm dancer, and now I'm doing turns that I never thought I could do, and there's just always room to grow and to never give up on that. Don't ever let what one decision, whether you make nationals or not, discourage you from continuing to dance because there is always room to grow and there's always next year if you never make it.
I really love that, especially because like one of my biggest things when I talk is living with the rare heart condition, and going on stage and talking about it, and still being able to be a D2 athlete. my biggest thing I try to tell the next generation, when the people with heart conditions, and even some of the older generations, that never give up. Like I never gave up. I always ask questions, and I mean now I'm in a Division II school doing track and field, where I was told that I
Yes.
wasn't going to be able to do athletics ever again. So I really love that. Like keep trying. Don't let anything discourage you. And I really love that that's what you want to leave behind. And I'm really glad that you gave me time of your day. You
No,
know,
thank you. I feel very honored to be here, and I'm happy to share.
well, you are my first video too, so we'll see how this goes. And then I know we're also planning another video together, probably after winter break, of
Yeah.
a cross practice. That's gonna be interesting. Division II thrower tries to do what a Division II dancer does. It's gonna be pretty interesting. I know I'm just trying to find another person to do it with. Pretty sure you can find a teammate pretty easy. I just gotta find another thrower that's willing to do it, or whether I want it to be a girl thrower or a guy thrower.
You can
But
bring your whole team. We don't
whoa,
mind.
whoa, I don't know about that. That's a lot of
Okay.
uncoordinated big people.
Hey, we love having anybody come. We love sharing our point of view because not a lot of people do get to see that other side, like the background of what is just a halftime performance.
Well, I love that, and that's our cue, I guess. Yeah, and that was I guess my first episode of Beyond the Ring. So thank you, Ruby.
Yay! Thank you for having me.